All right, all right. Another Wednesday at 2 p.m. We are here again with another live Q&A. I missed last week because I was in Florida, rubbing elbows with some amazing people and doing some cool stuff for the week. So, but I'm excited to be back and to do another one of these. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy, my friend Zach Childress, who called me out at not looking at the camera when I'm live. I noticed that I watch myself more instead of looking at the camera. So I'm making an effort to look at the camera while we're doing this so that I can make Zach happy if he watches this. So I am here today. It's Wednesday. I'm sitting in my office doing some cool things. We're recording some amazing content. We're putting together our course and doing that kind of stuff. And I'm scruffy. I just realized, what's really cool about owning your own business, being being an entrepreneur and doing your own thing is if you don't want to shave on a Wednesday when you go to the office, you don't have to, and that is something that I take pride in. Yeah, I probably shave like twice a week. I'm not gonna lie. So, blue jeans and a t-shirt, and I come in unshaven, and I do my thing, and I can, and nobody can tell me I can't. And that is the amazing thing about being an entrepreneur and having freedom. So, having freedom to do what you want to do and be who you want to be. And I'm going to start doing more than that. So I got a Facebook user here. I'm not sure who this is, but what's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going? So I'm going to talk a little more about, what's up, Matt? I'm going to talk a little bit more about, when you guys come on, actually, I want some hearts and likes. That helps Facebook, get to know, that you guys are liking and valuing this, and then it sends it out to people. So help me do that. And then also, with the hearts and likes, share it. If you feel like sharing it, tell me where you're from, comment on it, tell me where you're from. And, and yeah, let's get a good conversation going here. So I want freedom as well. And that's something that I've always worked hard for. So the freedom to choose and do what I want to do when I want to do it. I just spent a week in Florida. My business still ran. I get to get on a plane tomorrow and spend the next couple of days this weekend with our mastermind members from the Inner Circle Elite in Scottsdale, and my business will still run. And then I get to get I'm going to Alabama the following weekend for another event to hang out with some really cool people, and my business is still going to run. And I probably won't shave for any of those either because why? I don't have to, and I don't want to. So the freedom to choose, the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it, the freedom to be who you want to be. That's why you all get into this. And so I'm excited about real estate and investing because you just get to do you, right? I don't know how many years I did this business, and I wore flip flops and in shorts to the office. Now at least I put on shoes and I wear jeans, but I wore flip flops in shorts and just did my thing. And nobody cares, right? I mean, as long as you can follow through with what you say you're going to do, nobody cares. In fact, I think to be honest with you, I think homeowners, when you're dealing with homeowners and buying homes, most of them appreciate you being more casual. It helps them let their guard down, helps them do their thing. So, okay, enough of that rambling. So, my thoughts for this week. This is gonna be kind of I don't know. You either may like this topic or you may not. But I spent last week with gurus. Okay, I spent last week the entire week with most of the gurus, coaches in the industry. It was kind of like a conference revolving around coaching people, teaching people, helping people grow their business. And I want to say something here because I think a lot of the gurus in the business get they get bashed to get a bad name. And I just want to say that I was guilty of that when I first got into wanting to be doing the podcast and wanting to help people. I really the idea of being called a guru. Um, to me, it was disgusting. It was like a four-letter word. I mean, it is a four-letter word, but it was like a bad four-letter word. And I was anti, like I didn't want to be called a guru, and I didn't. And I think that held me back from really embracing the ability I had to help people. It held me back from really, um, you know, doing the things necessary to really get the word out and to start impacting lives. And over the last few years, as I have been interacting more and associating more with some of these people, I've realized that some of these guys out there that are coaching are great guys. They run great businesses, they're great people, and so I just want to kind of throw that out there that when you are do your research when you're looking for an educator and make sure that they're legit, obviously. But when don't fall down the rabbit hole of bashing all these people when they are out there, giving away, helping people, impacting lives, pouring into people. Find the one you identify with, whether it's me or somebody else. Find somebody you identify with and align with, and follow. If you can't afford a coaching program, then follow the information they put out there for free on YouTube or on podcast. If you can't afford a coaching program, obviously, find somebody you align with and get a coaching program. That's Oh my goodness, I'm spending a lot of money and learning things that they're going to help me grow, and for a good thing, because it's going to make me 10,000 times more dollars. So I think that aligning with somebody and getting a good coaching program is essential. So with that said, if you have questions, make sure you're asking your questions, and I will get them answered today. So, Michael, what exactly is hard money lending, and how is it different from bank lending? Okay, so great question. Hard money lending and private money and bank lending are different. So, bank lending, traditional lending, is where you go to a bank and you have to go through certain processes for qualifying for a loan, certain credit minimums, certain income minimums, and so on and so forth, generally regulated by the government or government agency body. And then, of course, each institution has its own framework for lending. It usually requires more money down and a few more hoops to borrow from. Hard money lending is institutional, in a very similar way, except it doesn't have all the regulations and the standards which you have to abide by to borrow. So, essentially, in hard money lending, you will pay a higher interest rate for the loan, but you don't have all the qualifying aspects of it. They don't even check your credit. Sometimes it's just asset based. Sometimes they don't check your income. Again, sometimes it's just asset based. Sometimes there's each hard money lender is different, but again, the whole point of it is it's a looser regulation than a bank, and it's usually faster to get the loan. So you usually get the money quicker, and you're able to do your project. And they usually specialize in lending to investors, so they understand the process, and they're a really good asset when you first get going to look over your shoulder and make sure the product's solid. The project that you're doing solid. So private money is a private individual. It's not institutional, and they are usually it's just direct to the person who has the money, and you're going to borrow that money. And again, the interest rates can be negotiable. It's probably not going to be as high as hard money. In some cases, it might be more, but it's definitely not going to be as low as a bank. And you're not going to have as many hoops as you would with hard money or the bank. In some cases, a private money lender will lend you based on relationship and the asset itself. So, um, reading glasses on, and I'm going to throw Jordan's question up here. Are your AM are your AMs going on appointments and closing over the phone? Which do you prefer? I'm going to cough for a second, so let me mute myself. Okay, my our AMs for the last 2 years have been closing over the phone, primarily um, closing over the phone for the last 2 years. Recently, locally, they've gone on a couple appointments, but our objective is to close everything over the phone. That is something that we've worked on mastering, and over the last few years, the cadence of the calls, how many calls does it take to get the close, assuring the seller that we're getting all the information we need, and so on and so forth to make a decision, and that we're not just kind of throwing, you know, shots in the dark, I guess. So, but we are primarily over the phone, and I can answer any questions about that you want. Matt, love the free live Q&A you do. I appreciate that, buddy. Trevor, how you doing? How's it going there, buddy? And then Matt, I'd love to hear. Let me see here. I'd love to hear about some of your ups and downs and struggles when you first got started. Did you hit a low point when you first got started? So that's a great question. Can I be candid? I hit low points more often than I think people realize, even now. I mean, because we're always striving for something more and something better, and we're always trying to grow as human beings. We're always trying to grow as business owners, um, so the struggles are different. So I can't tell you they always go away. I can't tell you they ever go away, but they do change and they become easier. So when I first got started, I always tell the story. Okay, so I was out of money. The first time I got started, we're not even gonna talk about the first time, but the second time I got started, after I lost everything, I was out of money. Like I couldn't get a job. I couldn't keep my lights on. I couldn't go to the grocery store without a calculator. Like it was bad. Like money was bad. Like and I remember sitting there talking to a lender, a potential lender, and trying to talk him into funding me on a deal, and my I got a text from my wife that my water had been shut off. So sitting there, and I had a choice between tucking my tail between my legs and going and handling that problem, or sitting there until I got the guy to commit to closing me. And I sat there until I got the guy to commit to funding me, close him to fund me. So I can't get my words out today. So the long and the short of it is, it was a struggle getting going, but I think that's what drove me, because every step I took was one step closer to getting out of the hole, and I had to get out of that hole. And but there are highs and lows, right? And we did a deal and we got an offer on it. And I was gonna make like 20 grand, and then the offer fell through, and we got a second offer, and then I was gonna make, I don't know, 15 grand on that second offer. And this is the first deal I did back in 2012, back in the game. And that offer fell through. And then the appraisal didn't come through. And then ultimately sold it. I only made 10 grand. So it was like high, low, high, low, high, low, and that happens, as you start to build consistency in this business. You have highs, and you have lows, you have highs, and you have lows. And I think that the key to success in this business, or anything that you do, is developing a mindset that just looks at challenges as just another battle that you're going to win. You know, um, I'm not political. I'm apolitical here on this, but I'm going to use Trump as an example. And Trump just did a speech when he got back to the White House, or just before he went back to the White House, about overcoming COVID, and the fact that, not to be afraid of it, and that you can beat it, and blah blah blah. He did this. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. He did this whole speech, and people are like bashing him about that speech. And again, I'm not taking sides, I'm just telling you the story. He's bad there. People are bashing him about that particular speech, that he's nonchalant, and he's this and that, and he's reckless, and so on and so forth. And the point I want to make about that speech is, from an entrepreneurial perspective, I can see the lens he looks through, right? He's looking through a lens of, this is just another obstacle. It's another risk versus reward, risk versus the ROI, how much can I lose? How much can I gain? Number one. And then number two, it's just another obstacle. And when you become a seasoned entrepreneur, and you train your brain right, when you really, really get the mindset right as an entrepreneur, you develop this knack of almost being ultra overly positive, too positive, right? Like every obstacle can be beat, and I'm capable. This sense of power, that you're capable of accomplishing anything. You develop this ultra sense of capability, and you go out and you conquer the world. And you just do that. And when a challenge faces you, instead of sticking your head in the sand and hiding and crying about it, you're just like, all right, let's roll up our sleeves, put on, go to work, and get through it, because that's just one more thing. You almost expect the challenge. You almost thrive on the challenges. You almost feed on the challenges as an entrepreneur. And that's something that develops over time. That's something that grows within you, as you grow, I think, as a human being in the entrepreneurial space. And so, do we all face challenges? Do we all hit lows? Absolutely. I still have low points. There are still moments in the day where, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, type of thing, on something I'm working on. And but then instantaneously, it's like that competitive brain kicks in, and I'm like, I'm gonna tear this thing up. I'm gonna conquer the world. And if there isn't a way to do it, I'm gonna create a way to do it. And so, Matt, hopefully that brings value to you, and helps you out. Matt, what made you decide to get into real estate to begin with? I wasn't always an entrepreneur. I was always entrepreneurial. I've had multiple businesses along the way, along my journey, and real estate just happened to be one that just was appealing, and it's easy. I mean, it's easy to get into. It's just math. It's just simple numbers, and I need calculator to do simple numbers. I need, spell check to spell. I'm just not like the brightest guy in the world, but it became, it's just a math equation. Does the deal work? or not. And what's my exit strategy? And so, I didn't have to create a widget. I didn't have to build a factory. I didn't have to do brick and mortar, um, you know, uh, business and that kind of thing. And that's the reason why it appealed to me so much. That's the reason why I decided I want to do it. Um, let's see here. How do you train your AMs to improve closing abilities? Do you use the audios of their appointments? We do audio. We use audio to train them. So let me rephrase to make sure the question is clear. How do I train my AMs to improve their closing abilities? We sometimes I sit like my AMs are literally like I say this all the time, but I'm sitting here in an office, and my AMs are right outside this door, and and then on the other side of the office, I have another office where I actually do my real estate work. And I have my admin team on that side. So, but I walk out of this door, in between calls and in between podcast and live Q and A's. And I actually walk over there and I sit with, my team and I'll ask questions, what are you working on? Let's review some deals. I'll listen to the phone calls. I'll give them some advice and that kind of thing. Of course, we record the audio and we go over the audio and they Monday morning quarterback themselves. I Monday morning quarterback them. They're doing, they're doing role playing as they go along. And then, of course, I have them in some sales training, like my buddy Steve Trang has a cool sales training. John Martinez has a cool sales training, and I've had my team go through John Martinez. I've had my team go through Steve Trang stuff, and of course, I did AM for years, and so I will teach them myself as well. So let's see here, Matt. Great, thank you, and then Michael. How do I know if I can trust a contractor as I have gotten all kinds of horror stories? You don't always know you can trust a contractor. You don't always know you can trust anybody until you date them, right? And get to know them a little bit. And so you go through the usual steps of vetting the contractors. I always like to look at jobs they're working on because that gives me a really good idea of their work ethic and their ability to run a project and the cleanliness and safety issues that may or may not be there. That's one way that I vet a contractor. I always tell them exactly what it is I'm doing. I have a conversation with them about it, about what we do, how we pay, what our price, essentially how we like to work, what our price points are, we need to be within, and so on and so forth. And but I think the key is giving them a project. Once you find somebody you're comfortable with, you give them one project, and that's it. And when they complete that project, then we talk about number two. The mistake that most people make is first of all, they do a large deposit, which again, I don't do. I don't ever do large deposits. And then they put them on multiple projects. They'll start a contractor in a week or two, and they'll start them on another project and maybe even a third project. And then you're in bed with this person. And if anything starts to unravel, it's just a mess. And so you don't want to do that. So once you've vetted somebody, you've had the conversations, you feel real comfortable with them, then at that point in time, you give them one project and you let them finish that one project. And then maybe even the second project, you let them finish that project. We talk about working with them on a regular basis. Usually it's project 2 or 3 where I see somebody unravel, if I'm being real, in most of my experience. By project 2 or project 3, I can see if somebody is, they're cash flowing the job. And so cash flowing the job is they're using the money that they're bringing in from this job to cover their expenses from the last job because at some point they got themselves in a hole. And so now they need new work to keep their head above water. That's something that you look for. And a lot of that is, even though they've been paid properly on time, they're still complaining about being out of money or they need to be paid early for payroll or something. There's something that, there's these little red flags and triggers that will tell me that they're cash flowing my job. And so that's usually project 2 or project 3. If they're halfway through to project 2 or halfway through project 3 and they're desperate for the next job, that's a red flag for me. So anybody who's running a good business, a solid business the right way, isn't going to be as eager or desperate to get their hands on another project from you. So really, ultimately, those are some things I look for. Timeliness. Are they finishing things on time? Am I seeing any cracks, any holes? Are things they're saying not lining up? I'm looking for that on job 1 and job 2, and we're building that relationship. And that's the key. The other thing that I do is I pay them weekly. So if you pay them weekly or biweekly only for work completed, you're going to find that, you know, you're going to be, if you have an issue with them, then you're going to be able to fire them. and not lose money on the job. Where if you pay a large deposit and they're only halfway through that deposit, you can lose money if you let them go. So I do things to keep myself not tied to somebody, I guess, in essence, long term. And so if I had to make a change on the project, it doesn't have a severe effect on me. But ultimately, like I said, the only really way to know you can trust them is to start working with them. One key thing I'll say is I don't ever, ever, ever hire anybody I really, really, really like. I found that everybody that I really, really like on a personal level, in the first handful of conversations never works out. I know that seems weird, right? But if you really click and you're friendly with each other, that it's hard to be the boss sometimes too. But I just my lesson, my own superstition, I guess, is that when I hire somebody that I really, really like, they don't work out. And so generally, I like to hire people that grow on me, and that seems to be appropriate. So, all right, hit me with more questions. Um, Hello, let's see here. Any more questions? Any more questions? Um, Private money and contractor seems to come up a lot. Lead flow and lead generation seems to come up a lot in these questions. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think the takeaway, I think the secret here is that you can't overthink it all, right? I mean, I think the biggest thing that keeps us from taking actions is that we're scared to make mistakes. Like we're scared to do something wrong. And I think what differentiates me and some other people who have been successful in this industry is that we just know mistakes are going to happen. There's going to be judgment calls and errors, and we're going to hire the wrong people, and that's just part of the journey. And so I think another mindset thing that I give you is accepting that there's no such thing as perfection. You're going to say the wrong thing, you're going to do the wrong thing, you're going to hire the wrong people, you're going to work with the wrong people, you're going to borrow from the wrong lender, and that's just part of the journey. And it's okay because you learn. Like there's so many things that I can tell you, and I can even spend the time breaking it down and teaching you at a granular level. But until you experience it, until you ultimately experience it, you're not gonna fully grasp it. You're not gonna fully understand it. And so, taking the action and getting that momentum going is important. And I think at the end of the day, it's really important to you start to feel success. Most of you on here that I've interacted with or that have been following me for a number of years, I will tell you that I feel that with my interaction with you, that your biggest obstacle is yourself. And the reason why you haven't experienced success or more success is because of that analysis paralysis thing where you're just spending too much time thinking about it and not enough time taking action. And when you operate from a position of fear, it's a recipe for disaster. You have to kind of, for lack of a better term, you have to go all in. You have to go, drop a sack, right, and just do it and make it happen. So let's see here. What is the best way to start to manage tables in sold houses? Real estate is tracked in my city, but not that many people know to do it. Tables are our main problems for pros. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know what you mean by tables. Manage tables in sold houses. What do you mean by tables? I'm not sure what you mean. I haven't heard it referred to that way in any of the markets that I've been in. So I know that tracking real estate and tracking what sold that you're talking about, so tracking solds and whatnot, or days on market. That's what you're talking about. So if you have a relationship with an agent, I can't believe I only got. Give me some thumbs up, people. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I'm gonna go away. Um, Ooh, I know what you mean by that. So I'm just going to assume you mean by tracking days on market and solds and whatnot and that kind of thing. So if you're newer, you can work with an agent and you can have an agent help you out with that, and give you information on what your average days on markets are and, so on and so forth. Um, if you are, I don't know what you mean by that. So, okay, I'm just going to assume that I don't know. Perfect. There you are. Okay. dinner table, for example, they scare customers for outdated furniture, so houses become less attractive. Oh, I need for solid way to remove from houses and properties so customers start flowing. Are you talking about? Okay, I got it. So, I mean, if you're talking about wholesaling, I don't know that I would worry about it too much. I just don't know. Yeah, again, I'm still a little lost, buddy, and I apologize. So, but so for example, old furniture in houses makes the house less attractive. If you're wholesaling property, you shouldn't care about a house being less attractive. I mean, at the end of the day, or if there's old furniture in there, a good rehabber, a good buyer is going to know the value of that property. They're going to know what they're going to make on it, and that's all that matters. The uglier the house, the better it is for me. So, if you're talking about rehabbing a house and selling it, then of course, at that point in time, you're going to want to stage it or not stage it at all, but you're going to stage it with newer furniture. And so again, I just don't think it's a non-issue. I think again, not really knowing the context of the question. I feel like it's something you are overthinking. On the wholesale transaction side, it's don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. A good rehabber is going to be able to see past that. All I can see when I walk into a place is what it can be. Best strategies for acquiring more sub two deals. Door knocking pre-foreclosures, which is kind of tough right now with COVID, but in some markets, it should still work. Door knocking tax defaults is a good place. Pre-foreclosures tax defaults, typically people who have some kind of distress are great for sub two deals. I did sub two the first 5 years I was in business, and and it was great. Yeah, I made a lot of money that way. And but everything I did was pre-foreclosure and tax default. So um, that's ultimately at the end of the day. Then anything at that point in time, anything, it's just having the conversation. So there's a lot of great information on sub twos out there. And all of it says the same thing. I mean, if a deal doesn't work as a wholesale deal or, a rehab or a flip and it's tight, then just ask the seller if they're interested in doing something creative. If they're interested in doing owner finance or doing a sub two. You just, at that point in time, you just ask. So, but if I was going to specifically, if I was brand new today and I was specifically going to go after some strategy for sub two, I'd be door knocking or cold calling pre-foreclosure and tax lien sales. Number one. Number two, I would be using it as a marketing strategy for any deal that didn't work for any other strategy at that point in time, and that's how I would do it. So, and when it comes to pre-foreclosure and tax lien sales, door knocking and cold calling are the two ultimately the best ways to go after it. So Matt says he's confused as well, but we have an explanation here. I'm specifically talking about tables left in houses for me to sell eventually. They scare customers away. I have seen it, and so they run out and not buy. Okay, so I'm assuming that you are, and I see you're on YouTube. So okay, let me just answer this. So I'm assuming you're an agent at this point in time, and if you are a real estate agent, then yes, that can be a problem if you're trying to sell a property retail. If you're wholesaling, again, I would not even be concerned about it. At the end of the day, that's the least of my worries is what junk is left in the house. As a rehabber, I'm going to take all that stuff out anyway, and I'm either going to stage it with something brand new or I'm going to not stage it at all. And then most of the time, I don't stage it all. If you're an agent, you just need to have an honest conversation with your seller. At the end of the day, you just need to look at your seller and say, these are the strategies that are going to allow me to be more successful. These are the ways for me to ultimately get you the best price for your house. And one of the things is that table's got to go. So, yeah, as a real estate agent, I mean, I would, I would be upfront with sellers about, okay, you have too much clutter. There's too many pictures on the wall. Maybe you need to paint the wall. Maybe you need to have your carpet cleaned. Maybe some pieces of furniture probably should be removed in order to expedite the sale of this property. And there's nothing wrong with that. If so many people are scared to tell people the truth, like, I'm going to tell you guys the truth all the time because, I feel like I owe it to you at the end of the day. If I'm going to make you successful, and some of you guys who have been in some coaching calls with me and some other, events and stuff like that, know me well enough to know that I seem like a soft guy here, but when we're doing something where I'm directly responsible for your success, I will tell you like it is. I just will. And I'll even tell you when you're the problem because I owe that to you, right? At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure that you're successful and that you take the information and you implement it properly. And I take that responsibility very seriously, just like with my team. My team's sucking here. I don't tell them they suck, but I sit down and say, okay, these are the areas we're falling short, and this is some of the things we need to do to improve. Because why am I going to hold that back from them and not give them the tools and the power to be successful, right? Why would I do that as a leader? I would be a sucky leader if I did that. And so many people are sucky leaders. I was for years because we were scared to tell people the truth. And so if you're an agent and you're working with clients, it's your responsibility to say, hey, look, in an ideal world, for me to be the most successful at helping you accomplish this goal of selling your property for the max amount of profit, um, X, Y, and Z needs to happen. And if you're willing to help me with that, then I can help you be more successful in accomplishing your goal. So anyway, enough of my leader talk. Josh, I is now actually a time to get in, though. We're about to face another major economic crash. By all means, my friend, it is. Let me tell you, my biggest regret in life was when 2008 happened. I stuck my head in the sand and I cried like a little baby. I almost said bitch. Shouldn't have said bitch on live, right? But I said it again. But I cried, like horribly, hid, and it was pathetic. And now I look back on it now, and it's like that was a great. I mean, my God, how much money would I have made had I got back in 2009 instead of 2012? I mean, God, I mean, it makes me sick to my stomach to think about how much more money I would have made. And so, absolutely, right now is the best time to get in. It is. It is. If we crash again, I mean, nobody wishes that, right? But at the same time, if it happens, like that's not bad, for us as real estate investors, it's opportunity. If it continues to go strong, we have opportunity. If it falls somewhere in the middle, we have opportunity. The coolest thing about real estate investing is if you got your head on straight, your mindset right, and you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do the work, then any market is opportunity. And opinion economic crash is one of the best ones. So hope that answers your question, Josh. Any secrets for people just starting? Yeah, man, take action. Get out of your own way. Start taking efforts. I have a podcast called Flip Talk Rookie Playbook. It's been out for a while, 49 episodes. Start with week one. That's one way to get started. And then I'm launching a course called Ready Build Scale. We have the ready component of that course. We just did a pre-launch on it. If you're interested in being part of that and being part of that first group, DM me, Don or just Don at Facebook, or send me an email at don@fliptalk.com. I'm looking to, use the first group in the launch to make examples out of them. And I'm going to pour a lot more effort into this first group because I have the time to do it, than I will be able to in the future. I mean, I'll always pour into everybody, but this first group's going to be a small group and they're going to get a lot of attention. So if you're interested in being part of a coaching program by somebody who's been doing this for 17 years, has made a lot of money and lost it all and rebuilt a real business and knows how to teach, knows everything that can go right and everything that can go wrong, then by all means, either DM me or email me at don@fliptalk.com. So, and I will help you out. Otherwise, Flip Talk, the podcast, Flip Talk Rookie Playbook podcast. And I got a ton of content everywhere, and there's a ton of content out there for any of you guys that want to be successful. So let's see here. Thanks. Is there a way to create a contract for locking taxes and lower rates for buyers? Contract for removing taxes for customers so the houses get sold faster, or contract for getting better loans? It's a loaded question that I'm not going to dive into here. There's really no contract for locking taxes in a lower rate. Well, it depends on what you mean. Like you're talking about when selling the home and you're talking about capital gains or that kind of thing. I'm not the guy I'm not going to pretend I'm an accountant. And if you're talking about property taxes, and that's going to be dictated by your state laws. Those are questions that you really don't even need to be concerned about. At the end of the day, most taxes are going to be completely out of your control. I think if I'm being real, I think that becomes kind of like a stumbling block to just hold you up from taking action. I don't have any more information beyond that because I don't ever worry about it. The taxes are what the taxes are. I do everything on my business side to mitigate that for myself. And I don't worry about it, for other people because I'm not their accountants. So is there any liens you can get easily removed from a property? There's a lot of liens you can get easily removed from a property. You'd be amazed at how many lien holders will be willing to have a conversation with you. Some lien holders will release from the property for a portion for payoff of the portion and not necessarily the whole lien. Some lien holders will release from the whole property for nothing as long as the seller is not getting any money for it in any way, shape, or form. IRS is one of those. Let's, God, I had something in my head and I forgot what I was going to say, but having conversations with the lien holders directly and negotiating, and a lot of times you can get reduced. I got a $48,000 loan paid off one time for $3,000 just by asking. So I got another one paid off. I think it was like a $42,000 loan paid off for $7,000 just by asking. So they're not always removed completely, but they can be removed sometimes for a portion or a fraction of the cost of the lien. And in some cases, like I said, they will remove voluntarily. They'll still follow the homeowner, but they'll remove off the property. Um, and it just there are some circumstances that mitigate that. And there are other things we can dive into, Matt. I think in a longer conversation about that kind of stuff. But the thing is, don't be afraid to ask. There's always an answer to resolve it. And I will tell you that in some municipalities, the city liens can be removed. At least the soft costs can be removed from properties. You negotiate with the city, and at that time of purchase, you'll pay off the hard costs, and they'll remove the soft costs. So say you have $100,000 of liens, and $40,000 are soft costs, $60,000 hard costs. So you pay off the 60, and they remove the 40. Or vice versa. So. All right, Chris, I'm going to see you this weekend, buddy. Can't wait to do it. So think of it this way. We are in the business of helping people in trouble. A crash, like Don said, although bad, it grows the motivation pool. 100%, 100%. Um, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm praying for an economic crash because I'm not. I really am not. But I'm kind of excited that it might happen for a lot of different reasons. So, one is because I want a new house myself, and I don't want to pay retail, and I would just love to see the market come back down because I want to buy more house for less money. But and then of course there's a lot of money to be made. So, but Chris, fantastic example. Chris is one of our Inner Circle Elite members and contributor to a lot of what we do, and just a fine gentleman in his own right. So, let's see here. Pick up the phone and start dialing. That's how you get started. And good day. If one house that has sold can one use a vacuum for sucking. Okay. I'm not sure where that came from. I think somebody's being mean to me. So they said if one in house that has sold can one use vacuum sucking eyeballs out of skull. All righty. Well, sometimes we get haters and sometimes we get trolls. I don't know. I don't know if that was meant to be that way or if it's just the way I'm reading it that way. So, but that made my day. Now I get to go home with a giggle and a laugh. Let's see here. How does one go looking? Can I read, people? How does one go looking for pre-foreclosure or even foreclosure? Sorry, I'm lagging behind on the live stream. No worries, buddy. So it depends on your state, right? So PropStream is a great tool. If you go to fliptalk.com/PropStream, you can get your 7-day free trial of PropStream. PropStream actually you can get foreclosure property default information from PropStream to get that information. If you're in the West Coast, there is Property Radar, and I think it's California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. Property Radar gives you you can pull foreclosure lists from Property Radar, and then different states have different sources. You're going to have to look in your state. I would ask your your title company in the market. Reach out to a customer service rep at a title company and ask them about where to find a foreclosure list. Back before the crash, when I was doing this in the Wild West days, they could give us notice of defaults reports in California, and they can't anymore. So, but some states I think still can. And so I'd reach out to the customer service rep at the title company and find out. But PropStream is a great source otherwise, and Property Radar as well. And again, knocking on doors, scary stuff, right? When you first get going, but it's some of the best fun I ever had, and I made a lot of money doing it. Let's see, what kind of marketing would you recommend right now? Cold calling and text messaging. And I don't know that text messaging is going to be around that much longer, but it's should be profitable for a little while. But cold calling would be the way I'd go, and then of course door knocking. I've had fantastic success with both postcards. Fantastic success with postcards. I made a lot of money that way. But I will be honest with you that during the COVID situation, postcards aren't as viable as they usually are. Just because I think people are having a hard time making a decision where they're going to go. But it's still a viable source too. With postcards, you just got to be committed to making an investment for a period of time to see success. If you don't have a lot of money, I would cold call my butt off. Let's see here. I'm not meant to be a hater. I try not to, Nick, but it's hard when language is bad and have difficulty making proper words. Sorry for. Okay, no problem at all whatsoever. I didn't think you were trying to be a hater. Like I said, I may have read it wrong, and I'm sure there was an explanation for that. I just thought, I had to kind of make a joke. So about that last one, sucking your eyeballs out of your head. So I'm sure you were voicing some frustration about something I just didn't know what it was. So let's see here. If Trump gets elected, I don't see a crash. He makes people very confident in the market. Um, you know, I can't say I agree or disagree. And again, if you guys all know me on the internet, I'm apolitical, and trust me, I have very strong political convictions, and I have strong, religious convictions. I just don't who I am in my personal life behind closed doors. My family is who I am in my personal life, and that's none of anybody's business. So, and when you're a business owner, I suggest, especially as polarizing as the world is right now, I suggest you be the same way, right? Nobody knows which side I actually land, and therefore I don't get in any arguments and I don't really care. But I will say this: I don't know that it matters 100% if Trump gets elected or Biden gets elected as to whether or not it's going to be a crash. And that this is my argument why. In 2001, some of you have heard me say this before, 2001, 2002, in that area. Okay, you're talking about the end of 1999, 2000. They had the tech bubble burst. Okay, they dropped interest rates. They utilized real estate to drive the market. That's kind of what they're doing right now, right? They dropped the interest rates to next to nothing. They're using the real estate to drive the market. Okay, so only so many people can qualify for the loans, right? It's like, you have the sweet spot. All these people are qualifying for the loans, and you get to the law of diminishing returns. You maximize everybody in the market, just like you do when you're marketing, when you're a real estate investment company. You start to get to the diminishing returns. So in 2002, 3, 4, they started doing these different loan programs. They did stated income loans, but they were a little bit hard to qualify for. You had to have a certain credit limit, and then they dropped the credit score, and then they added, the liar option. Like, you could basically, it was beyond just stated. You state your income and your assets. You could completely fraudulently lie on a loan and still get a loan, and they wouldn't verify anything. And then they went to the pay option arms. So each time they introduced these programs to make it easier to get a loan, and then once they kind of that momentum slowed down, they threw another layer on top of it to make it easier to get a loan, to the point where people who had a heartbeat and no business buying a house or buying houses 4, 5, 6 at a time, and just really driving the economy. And then they raised interest rates. They tried to put the brakes on it, but they raised interest rates just a little bit too fast, and they slammed the brakes, and the economy fell. And that was the ultimate economic crash. So in this particular situation, there is an undertone of people who aren't working right now. They're not working. They're not making money. They're not, businesses are going under. Businesses, I don't know how many businesses I know they're going under. Office space, commercial space is really going to take a hard hit, because even I'm looking at, I got 3,000 square feet that I don't even need anymore, because half my business is virtual thanks to COVID. So, and, I'm at a point right now where I don't want to come to the office every day. I'm looking for a new home for myself. I'm going to build myself a nice little home office in my new home, and I'm going to work out of home most of the time, and I'm going to have my team be virtual. Why should I rent a 3,000 square foot office? There's an undertone. There is an economic impact to that ultimately is going to kick the legs out of the economy. Now, what is Trump or Biden or anybody who's going to be in place going to do to prop that up, right? No matter how much you like Trump, no matter how much confidence you have in his ability to drive business in the market, there comes a point where the economics are just the economics. Okay, and so if you get to that point where we start losing momentum in the real estate market, and some of the things are going on, and we start getting the legs kicked out of us, or these, like California refuses to open, right? And the businesses, jobs are just falling through the cracks. They're going to have to start doing some crazy things again to drive the economy, and it's how much of those crazy things are they willing to do to keep the economy alive, and for how long will it keep it alive before ultimately they just can't hold it up anymore. And so that's the what if. Now, on the flip side, the what if is things could be great for a really, really long time. And there could be some economic factors and things that happen that continue to drive that. And the economy recovers healthily on its own. That's a big what if too, right? So at the end of the day, do I think that if Trump gets elected, will things be more positive a little longer? Probably. If I'm being real, just because there is that kind of belief that he's the businessman and he drives the economy. But do I think that he is immune to just simple, realistic economic factors? I don't know. A lot of the loan policies that drove the market, that really drove the housing growth and then crisis ultimately in 2003, 4, and 5 were Clinton era policies that were simply driven forward by Bush. So, and I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just there's just reality. A lot of the momentum was built under the Clinton era into Bush and carried forward. So, if Biden comes in, would the Democrats do things to stimulate and prop and get people to be able to buy things they shouldn't be able to buy and stuff like that? I don't know. And so there's just a lot of what ifs and a lot of questions that come into place. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be overly confident in any way, shape, or form, if that makes sense. I would be protecting my downside and being ultimately prepared for any advantage, any opportunity that comes its way, regardless of what the market does. And that's my game plan. And if it goes, and I think ultimately there's going to be a wobble in the market, no matter who's in control. And I want to be ready to take advantage of that. That's my bet. So if I'm going to Vegas, I'm putting it all black and I'm betting at some point the legs are going to get kicked out from under the market and there's going to be opportunity. That could translate in some stimulus packages, right? That could translate. It may not be the market crashes, but the government does something fantastically fabulous to prop everything up that we as business people can profit from, right? And so again, it's just trying to look at it from every angle. So yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't listen to me, right? Don't listen to me. Um, Victor, would you recommend a new flipper hire a home inspector to determine what repairs are needed, or just trust the contractor to determine the repairs are needed? That's a good question. And I think it really comes down to what you're comfortable with. I mean, a home inspection is going to be anywhere from a couple $100s to $500 or $600, depending on where you're at in the market, what market you're in, and so on and so forth, and how extensive the home inspection is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that if that makes you feel more comfortable. At the end of the day, there's still going to be things, even if you have a home inspection, there's still going to be things that come up in the project that are unforeseen. You open up a wall and there's termite damage. You open up a wall and there's pipe issues. Um, a home inspection only goes so far, to a certain degree. And I will tell you this: if you fix every single thing on that home inspection, and then you sell a property and they do their own inspection, they're still going to find something wrong. You know why? Because home inspectors are paid to find problems. And that is just a simple, honest to God truth. They are paid to find problems. They're always going to find problems. It doesn't matter. So I don't ever do everything perfect. I leave a few things for them to find. So they don't maybe fix things that don't need to be fixed. But my answer is, if you're comfortable with that, then do it. And it's not money. It's not money wasted. At the end of the day, I don't think so. But I would also say that you need to dictate to the contractor what needs to be done. You shouldn't let the contractor dictate to you what needs to be done. So, let's see. Anyway, okay. So, any more questions, comments, or concerns? I've been on here for 49 minutes, people. Ready build scale. The component of ready build scale is we did a pre-launch. We're looking for individuals who are interested in being part of that coaching program. It is a coaching program. It is 19 sessions. I've added 3 bonus sessions, so 22 sessions so far. I'm going to add a couple more bonus sessions. Each session has anywhere from 2 to 5 videos in it. So we're somewhere close to like 80 or 90 videos in that thing. And then we are doing twice a week coaching calls. So if you're interested in being part of Ready, PM me at Don on Facebook, Don Costa at Facebook. I will check my spam if you have not if you're not a friend of mine, and or you can email me at donaldfliptalk.com. If you're interested in being part of a mastermind community, we're looking for the right people. Look, you don't have to be doing 100 deals a year. I want to be clear. My job is to get you to be doing whatever it is you want to be doing, whether it's 50 deals a year, 100 deals a year, or 20 deals a year. As long as you are doing deals and you have a business, you are somebody I want to talk to about being part of the Inner Circle Elite. We are looking for members of the Inner Circle Elite community that we can help grow, that are willing to contribute to our community and make it better, and we can make you better. So if you're interested in being part of the Inner Circle Elite, go to beinthisroom.com or PM me or email me at donaldflip.com if you have more questions. I'd love to have a conversation with you about being part of our community. There, my job, my mission is to create freedom for as many people as I can, and hopefully you can be one of those people for me. So, and let's see here, Carly. What? I know nothing of this. Ready? Okay, so ready is ready is okay. We're launching. I'm not going to get into it too much. We're launching a few courses, okay, over the next couple of months, and ready is the first component to what is going to be an amazing program. And so ready basically is if you haven't done any deals, or you're doing deals and you want to do more. If you're not doing any deals and you want to do deals, or you're doing deals, you want to do more, that's what ready is. We're going to get you there. It is a component of starting to do lead generation, understanding wholesaling, understanding a deep dive into what it is, how to get there, and so on and so forth. So, and we're gonna, we're taking a deep dive into that. Like I said, it's going to be close to 100 videos and twice a week coaching. I just got your name from Lauren. Okay, got it. So, yeah, I mean, I would check out Ready if you're looking for a coaching program out there, and you are newer in the business. Then check out Ready, and I will be sure to get you the information you need. And I am sad to not see you answer my question. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry that your grandmother passed away, but that's as much as I'm going to say about it. So I love this. All right, people are being fun with me. So anyway, let's see here. I'm in Bakersfield. My glasses keep going on and off, making myself insane here. I'm in Bakersfield. Are you in this? I'm assuming it's this market. I'm actually in Fresno. We do operate in Bakersfield. We go from Bakersfield up to Sacramento. We are in the Bay Area. We are in Tennessee at this point in time, just starting to get our fingers into Tennessee. And then we do some stuff up in Oregon. Although I need to get up in Oregon more and really push harder. But I am in Bakersfield, if that answers your question. So I do know the California market well. So and I know all the people over there, Lauren and Pace and all those guys are all great people. So good people. But yeah, so ready is ready to go. If you want to be part of that pre-launch, I'm telling you right now, this is the most we're going to pour into any one group is in this pre-launch, because we're building out like all the coaching program and everything. Now that we're launching it, I want to make sure we have a good foundation. I want to make sure that everybody comes through this successful. So, what's up from Southern California? How's it going? And then, oh yes, Fresno. That's why I'm shouting out to you. Okay, I'll talk to you. Perfect. So, I'm ready. So ready. Perfect. I am as well. How different is my program from Fortune Builders? That's a great question. Fortune Builders isn't a bad program. Okay. You are not going to, realize I'm going to say that, I guess, is it's really not, it's not a bad program, but it's a $40,000 program. And it is, it's a lot of everything. And I think that, honestly, we pay that much more money and have a lot of everything, it becomes overwhelming for somebody that's newer. For Ready, it's very concise and specific. I've been doing this for 17 years. I know the business inside and out. I've failed in this business and I've succeeded in this business. I know how to teach it. I know how to explain it. I know how to give you the reasons behind why we do what we do and how we do what we do. So if you want a long explanation to really understand in depth as to it, how and why something's going to happen or work, or what the ultimate outcome could be, you have that option. If you want a very short, condensed version, I'm also very good at explaining things in a little box and making sure that it's nice, packed, a little clean, and you can just grab it and run. So myself and Mike Cowper, along with contributions from Inner Circle Elite members, or put this program together. And it's very specific. It's specific to wholesaling, ready specific to wholesaling. Of course, I am a rehabber as well, and so I am available during the coaching calls to answer rehab questions. But it is specific to wholesaling and lead generation and seller conversion and starting to build some momentum in your business and get a business going. And of course, we'll have some other things coming down the road that will latch onto that will start taking you through the levels and building a real business. My goal ultimately, I'll share with you, my goal is for everybody here that's never done a deal before or only done a couple of deals that would love to be part of a successful mastermind community and network with people that are making $1 million a year or more and be part of that inner circle. My goal is to take you through our community and bring you up to the point where you're ready to be part of our mastermind and and hang out with us and do some really cool things. That's ultimately my goal. So ready is the first step in doing that. Ready is really breaking down the components of this business in a way that no matter how consume information, you're going to be able to get what you need from it. And then of course you got the twice a week coaching calls. So Mike Cowper will take one each week and I'll take the other. And of course, every once in a while, we'll have some contributors and friends of ours come in and assist in those coaching calls as well. People who are doing the business. And I think the difference is ultimately at the end of the day, it's a fraction of the cost of fortune builders. And, I would say a hell of a lot more attention. And that's not bad math because I don't think they have a bad program. So hopefully that answers your question. What kind of marketing do I recommend right now? Cold calling and text messaging. That I answered that one earlier, but I'll say it again: cold calling and text messaging. Um, and let's see here. Okay, and that's me. So, all right, I think that's my questions, and I've been on here for an hour. So again, I'm going to plug it one more time. If you are ready to change your life, if you're ready to start to build more momentum in your business, if you're ready to start this business in any way, shape, or form, and you're wanting to learn from somebody that is got, you know, probably more experience than most people out there, I'm ready to teach you. I'm ready to help you get there. So PM me on Facebook or Instagram at the real Don Costa. You can email me at donaflip.com. And of course, if you're here and you're somebody that wants to be part of the mastermind community, we're actually, I'll throw it out there. You want to be part of mastermind community. I'm getting a plane tomorrow and I'm going to Arizona for 2 days to network with a large portion of our mastermind community. And if you feel like you're somebody that you're doing deals, you understand this business, you're not asking basic questions, and you want to grow your business, or you have a business and you want to hobnob with us, and you're willing to get on a plane tomorrow, message me and I'll get you squared away to come check out what we have going on. And if that's not going to work, just message me or go to beinthisroom.com, one or the other, and we'll have a conversation about it next meeting. So that's what I got, man. People, a lot of cool things going on. I'm ready to start exploding some minds and building some futures and making some people just accomplish their goals, not make it, but help them, right? Help them accomplish their goals. And I'll be back next week. Same day, same time for Q&A, and I can't wait to answer some questions. Bring your questions. I don't care what they are, and I'll get you taken care of. So I guess that's it. It's been real. It's been fun. Until I talk to you again. Have a wonderful day.